What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Yala, your thrice weekly podcast where we talk about the hottest news with a touch of what, Terrence?
Good old humor.
Good old humor, man.
Yeah.
How are you feeling the 58 years of Singapore?
Already, feeling older already. Yes.
You are feeling older.
Yeah, as we approach 60. It's like that's like the cut-off point, right?
It'll be a whole gangbang again, lah.
Yeah. It'll be a big thing, 60 years.
SG60.
Yeah.
Oh, probably people planning for it already, lah.
But still got the people still having the post NDP hangover, lah, right? Do you get a sense? A lot of people still talking about stuff that happened at NDP and all that.
No, I don't get that sense.
Oh, you don't?
Yeah.
You moved on already, lah.
I moved on, right?
Heartless.
No, I would
give you one fireworks celebration, happy, then after that forget who brought you.
Then what do you feel? What is this hangover that you feel?
I mean, like, literally one of the topics we're talking today is about NDP, right?
True lah. But it was one of those things that it is an interesting topic.
Yeah.
But NDP, yeah. I mean, I like my NDP experience this year. So me and my wife just went to somewhere in Kallang and watched the fireworks from a distance.
Yeah.
So it was chill. It was nice, and there were a lot of people there just chilling. So hey, actually this is kind of cool.
It's like a metaphor for what we do, right?
Yeah.
Like we go parliament, we just watch. Watch from a distance. Chill.
Yeah, just chill. It was nice. I mean, we started off watching some of the parade. I remember seeing the Red Lions land.
Yeah.
And wow, like they really come in fast.
Yeah,
they come in fast.
Yeah. I was there in person, and it was quite shocking how crazily they were swinging around as they were about to approach. Hit the ground already.
Yeah.
And I was kind of concerned that there'd be a repeat of that.
I think everybody was. I think everybody was, man.
Yeah, but this time was I think it was they did well, and they allowed them to land in the middle of the field.
A bigger landing spot.
It looks like a bigger landing spot. I think last time was like a path, right? Like a road or something.
Now they're like, okay, anywhere here, you just take your time, you land, you go solve and all, that's all good, man, all good.
Yeah, it's the size of 2 football fields, more than enough space to land. If you need more space, there's other places you can go in Singapore. There's 11 football fields also.
Oh yeah, that's true. But was it hot? That was the thing that I was thinking. Is the weather these days is so hot. Was it hot when you were there?
Yeah, it was hot.
Were you in the sun?
Yes, I was in the sun.
Oh, you're in the sun.
It was very hot, yeah.
Oh, shit.
Okay, I mean, it starts at the evening-ish time, so you know the sun will slowly peter out by a certain time. But before we jump to everything there, there's always one thing. We
couple
always
of
need
things.
to make a plug.
Yeah.
And what is that plug?
The plug is that if you are watching us on YouTube or listening to us or watching an excerpt on Instagram or TikTok, it would be great if you could follow us, hit subscribe, follow us. It helps you beat the algorithm so that you see our content whenever we post it.
Yeah, and if you want to work with us, which is you want to commission a podcast or have your name appear before the start of the podcast, hit us up. Contact at ministryofffunny.com.
Yeah, and all the links are in the show notes. We like doing those pre-roll ads where we speak with some comedic tone and music in the background.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we're still in that NDP, post-NDP, self-hating phase where we're questioning what we're doing with our lives, right? And including the topics that we're talking about today.
Yeah, but the first topic is not so much NDP related, right?
Not NDP, but you could argue that it's something related to total defense also, right?
Oh yeah, that's true.
Psychological.
That's a bit of a stretch, but okay. I got it.
If you watch the parade, there was a whole segment where they literally built floats around each pillar of total defense, and it was like it was meant to be like cute I think it was like a giant pencil box with all the things that can open up, representing military defense because we have so many arms in the military.
Yeah.
And they had things like a calculator that represented I don't know, psychological defense or something.
Calculator?
Yeah, literally like a giant calculator.
Why the fuck is the calculator psychological defense?
Basically there was a video or a skit that basically was this guy who was trying to teach his grandparents about total defense. And so he goes around his house looking at various things, talking to his sister and everything. And then he realizes, looking back, that each of these interactions he had at home represented some pillar of defense, like the
Oh.
food cover, the thing that covers the food is like protection against fake news and all that. I mean, the analogy is really, I mean, it really
What
sounds fucking bad when someone says it like that, but and it was very on the nose and all, and it was kind of cheesy.
But you felt proud, lah. You felt proud that.
No, I didn't feel proud, but I remember it, right? And that's what you want people to do, right? Remember. Yeah.
But during the parade, if people wanted to, for some reason, check their banking account, and they happen to have an OCBC bank account, and they use Android and they download third-party apps outside of the Google App Store, they would not have been able to log in.
Correct.
Or they may not have been able to log in.
Yeah.
Because during NDP week at the start on 6th August, which was a Sunday, OCBC rolled out their latest security feature, which is meant to protect against malware. Malware infections, if that's even what it is. From what I understand, because I'm an iPhone sucker.
Yeah.
If you have these apps that maybe you downloaded that are not officially downloaded from the Google App Store, and you open up your OCBC Bank app, they might tell you that, okay, you have some suspicious apps. We're not going to let you log in. Yeah, just no. Yeah. Not even a warning, no.
Yeah.
We're just not going to let you log in. You delete those apps. They even give the names of the apps. I think the ones that were screenshot was Taoyin, the Microsoft Authenticator app, and Alipay. And then you delete that and then you reinstall it from the Google App Store. Then only you can access the app.
Yeah.
So a lot of people were pissed off. I think from the day itself, people started posting online, and by yesterday or by National Day actually, there were a lot of articles being written about it. That a lot of people were upset.
Yeah.
So now a few days have settled. They have come out and responded. MAS also has chimed in, saying they will learn from this. But did you experience anything related like for this?
No, I'm an iPhone user. So end of discussion. Everyone just use iPhone.
Yeah, that's why. Exactly. You got 2 iPhone users here.
Yeah. No lah, but it seems like a very anti-consumer kind of thing to do, right? Doesn't it? Because I think what you're hearing out there is that they are blanket banning a lot of apps that are, I think the term is side-loaded into Android devices, which is...
What side-loaded?
Means they download the app from a website that is not the Google Play Store. Yeah, so there are actually a lot of apps that people use for work also that they need to put on their Android phones. So even those apps will get lumped together with the apps that cannot be used while...
Oh, because those are not official banking from the Google App Store.
Yeah, they're not from the Google App Store. And some people are saying, I literally am a app developer or something, and I need these side-loaded apps to test certain things. So now you are literally getting in the way of my work for me to use my banking services to access my own bank account. And then, like you say, Alipay, this Chinese web services, they don't necessarily go through the Google Play Store again. So it is it's quite, a huge hammer used to solve a very specific problem.
But then don't you think that we are seeing so many issues of malware scams? Every day there's someone who got screwed by malware.
Yeah.
Malware scam. And malware is essentially just, I think at a very high level, it is just some sort of virus that is smuggled into your phone via unofficial apps.
Yeah.
Via an interaction with a website that you might go to, and it gets into your phone, and it basically remembers whatever you type in on certain websites, so that the people who are controlling the malware, they will see what your login IDs are and all, and I think they target CPF a lot.
Yeah.
So just go into your CPF, empty it out via PayNow, and that's it, you're done.
Yeah.
And I think OCBC themselves, earlier this year, they were hit by MAS with additional capital requirement of 330 million over SMS phishing scam response. I think it was sometime last year.
Yeah.
We did a podcast about it also, right?
Sure, yeah.
There was a bunch of people lost a shit ton of money, and all OCBC accounts.
Yeah.
And I think OCBC had to pay back a lot of it, right?
Yeah.
So then MAS basically said this additional capital requirement, which from what I understand is just that you must have this capital available before you can invest your bank funds and all. So it limits the amount of capital you have to invest as a bank.
Yeah, basically, I mean, every bank you don't need to carry all the cash that people put with you. You only need to carry a certain percentage. So, but MAS says, you need to carry more cash then it kind of limits what you can do with
And
your money.
specifically OCBC.
Yeah. It's a punishment for that what happened there.
And I mean, the thing is, like, apparently a lot of banks are going to be rolling out security features.
Yeah, that's what MAS has said. Right?
Yeah. So that's why when I was thinking about this, right, I'm like, okay, is this really a bad thing? It's basically, you know how they advise you if you are logging into Wi-Fi at a cafe or something?
Yeah.
That's not the best time to...
Open Wi-Fi, right? You're saying open... What do you call it? What's it called?
Open Wi-Fi.
That means Wi-Fi that you don't need to authenticate or anything. It's just free Wi-Fi.
There's a term open Wi-Fi.
No, not open Wi-Fi. Remember, I mean, we've done videos about this, like logging into like free Wi-Fi is not safe.
Open wireless SG. What?
No. I'm saying logging into like a free Wi-Fi isn't actually very safe.
Guess Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Right, because people can hack in very easily.
Yeah.
So there are things you shouldn't do when you want to log in to, like, say, your bank or something like that, which are accepted practices.
Yeah.
So in some way, isn't OCBC just saying, yo, man, you got some suspicious apps on your phone. Don't fucking use our bank account. We are protecting you. You go and reinstall this shit. And then you come back to us. So is that wrong?
Maybe not wrong, but I think the implementation maybe is very abrupt. And coupled with the fact that I think me included, a lot of people's experiences with mobile banking apps generally has been quite negative. You go to the, whether it's Apple Store or what, and you look at all the reviews and all that. And my own personal experiences with some of these banking apps have been largely negative. At the same time, the banks are, reporting record profits and DBS CEO like selling shares after a positive announcement of the
small amount
price.
of his shares for 3.4 million. Yeah.
So I mean, you know that these banks are raking it in. They're not reinvesting a lot into into building a better customer experience for the man on the street. They're not, and now they are literally telling you that you cannot use these certain apps on your phone, even if you want to. And which is why a lot of people use Android. They like that control that they have over their phone, right? So I think the implementation just seems... I think people are asking, have you really exhausted all the options of building something, a safe environment for people to use your app, right?
Yeah.
Before telling people, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this, don't do that, because it's risky behavior.
Yeah.
How about your own app and everything? Is it a solid, foolproof thing that can be relied on in good times and bad times? I mean, I've literally been in those situations where I'm trying to pay for something because I'm not carrying cash, and then DBS
goes down.
Like the DBS app is just down for the day, and everyone's like damn kanchong, like, well, what do I do? So we talked about this whole cashless society, and are we ready for it and all? But I do feel the banks have a lot of catching up to do to make people confident of their services, and they're not at the stage yet. And then they pull this move, claiming to want to protect the consumers. That's where I think the problem is at.
In some way, they're kind of like saying, hey, you don't fuck up before you use our app.
Yeah.
You clean up your mess first, then come and use our app.
Yeah, then you can't use our app. And our app still sucks, but that's just the price you have to pay for using our app. So that's why I think people are so pissed off by it. Because like what you said, I don't think, unfortunately, a lot of things regarding security, when you go and take a flight and all that, they ask you to take off your shoes. It's very inconvenient, right? But you do it because there's a base level of security that everyone ascribes to, and you make that you make the little sacrifice so that overall the whole system is safer, right? So in some sense, this is what they are asking of you also, But I don't think people are convinced that the banks are doing it in their interest, that they're building these safeguards within their own app itself before they're asking people to not engage in risky behavior per se.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So it's almost like if you are coming to my house when my house is really quite dirty, it's like you shower first.
Yeah,
shower first. You don't come and dirty my house.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Okay. Because at first I was thinking, first of all, the comms was fucked up. Some people were saying, okay, if you want to roll it out based on chatter online, you can even start with or give people the chance to opt out. Okay, this can automatically flag and disable if you have some suspicious stuff. If you don't want, we will just warn you.
Yeah.
But then we won't say you cannot log in, right? So then that made sense. And I think what you said is quite interesting, because there is, it feels like there's so much potential for solutions which we are not going to think of.
Yeah.
But that's what the banks with all their profits and all should be able to think of. I mean, in the olden days when it was brick and mortar, they thought about how to come up with your safe that makes it impenetrable or something.
Yeah.
Now it's just in the digital world.
Yeah.
But I mean, the one thing also I found quite interesting is that the head of anti-fraud at OCBC, his name is Beaver Chua.
I know.
Isn't that someone you want to be looking after security?
No.
What do beavers do?
Oh, build dams.
They build dams.
Yeah.
They build blocky. Imagine if his name was like Licky Chu or something. Yeah, would you want Licky Chu or taking care of your security?
I would want Otter lah. Otter Chan.
Why Otter Chan?
Huh? I mean,
what do otters do? They just hold hands, right?
They go around stealing fish from other places for you on your behalf.
So you must sign up with them lah. You don't go and sign for a competitor or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Beaver Chua, he's the head of anti-fraud.
Yeah. With a name like Beaver, it's hard to take very seriously, right?
Yeah.
And then I think a lot of people have commented on that. We don't want to make fun of his name per se and all, but it's just an unfortunate coincidence that his name is Beaver.
I think if he brands himself properly, he can be the dam. I'm building your dam.
Yeah. But I mean, people are just basically seeing this as a lot of people are seeing this as a very anti-consumer move, right? And like what you said, it can be implemented, but whether maybe there's an opt-in period or something, opt-out period, and more heads up, I think some people literally just discover, suddenly I cannot log into my Android app anymore for OCBC.
Yeah,
and that is, I mean, I've been there before, even for my iPhone, and it's sometimes the most frustrating thing because you're just trying to do a transaction or check something quickly, and that's the promise of banking apps, right? Everything's at your fingertips. And no, there's something's wrong. 12-hour timeout, everything. Yeah.
I felt it on the night of my wedding dinner.
Oh, really?
Must pay the restaurant, right?
Yeah.
Walao, then I was already quite drunk and all.
Yeah.
And I had to call the bank to temporarily increase my credit card limit or something. I was like, oh my God, just don't say anything. But of course, people around me were helping. But then I was like, oh shit. And moments like this, if you cannot log in, you cannot do shit. It is quite paralyzing.
Yeah. You mean never bring the card?
I brought the card, but then the card got some limit,
Okay.
Because I just got the card, I think a few weeks before, and I didn't set it. It was but in the end it was okay.
But here's another question that I had also. The banks are saying that we're not trying to track your activity on your phone and things like that, right? What do you think of this kind of assurances?
I mean, I can imagine how they really don't track, but I don't trust it.
Yeah, why do you don't trust?
I don't know, man, Terrence. You put your faith in the powers that be, and then you kena cheated. You see all this stupid ass shit that happens.
Yeah.
All these big companies behave in ways that belittle your trust.
Yeah.
How to trust?
Yeah, and I think the best example was brought up in Parliament recently. When Vivian Balakrishnan said,
correct.
Basically they forgot to say 4 words. Subject to prevailing conditions.
That's right. 4 words, no?
4 words.
And the way he made it seem like, it's only 4 words.
Yeah. I mean, I think the whole thing we're talking about is traced together, right? Where people were told in no uncertain terms that all the information gathered by Trace Together cannot be used in any other way other than contact tracing if you are sick and all that. And it turns out later that we discovered, actually the police have the right to take the information and use it for whatever they need to do. Which, I think a lot of people are very disturbed by the intrusion, or at least the feeling of intrusion of their privacy, and having an app in your phone that you kind of need to get around. And now suddenly it's been revealed that actually it's doing more than what it was intending to do. So I think that's the very bitter aftertaste that people have had after that. And that was the first thing that popped in my mind. I don't believe a word that they say about they're not using whatever things to track whatever you're doing on your phone already.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they are not, but it's like they're saying, okay, there's someone who's going to walk through the men's restroom or the women's restroom with their eyes closed. We guarantee you, eyes closed.
Yeah.
Confirm, eyes closed, no one will look.
Yeah,
but all it takes is one fucker to just open the eyes and look. Like recently, I think it was OCBC, right? There was this teenager that accessed 55 accounts.
The intern.
The intern.
Yeah.
He accessed 55, and the story is also quite ridiculous. I think something about his friend or something. Then he went into his friend's account
and said, "Hey, you got money, and then you want to pay me back or something like that."
I don't know whether
right?
that's like a hypothetical or whether that was really the case. But then he went into the accounts of some influential people and all.
Yeah.
Then it feels like, yo, man, OCBC. You are on one hand telling people to be careful.
Yeah.
Your own internal intern has access to all this.
Yeah.
So easily.
Yeah.
Yeah lah. So yeah lah. Like, I think it almost like if they want to access the data, they can, but they won't.
Yeah.
But they won't, Terrence. They won't.
Yeah.
But then banking and government different, why?
No, but I think it's the people's faith in
institutions
and apps that claim to we can stop you from, we can see what's on your phone, but we will not use the information to do anything with it. There's those assurances that now, like what you said, seem quite leaky, right? I don't trust a word that comes from these institutions about it. So
better see. Maybe Beaver is head of anti-fraud. Then there's Leaky Chua.
Leaky Chua
with data analytics or something. Better is fucking Leaky Chua.
Yeah. And the Otter.
Leaky Chu. Yeah, and Otter
Chan is in the wings waiting to steal customers.
Leaky Chu is like, come, Otter, come.
No, Otter is head of customer acquisition.
Oh,
Otter,
that's true.
Otter Chan, head of customer acquisition. Leaky Chua is the head of intern recruitment or something.
Leaky Chu. Beaver Chua, Leaky Chu, and who's the what? Otter Chan.
Yeah. Funny, man.
Yeah, so it just feels, exactly, that trust, right? I mean, OCBC is not even like, if they are the first bank to roll this out, there's almost no first mover advantage.
Yeah.
So it felt like, and they want to do during NDP week some more.
Yeah.
Just felt like, and again, it's the comms lah. It seems like there was no communications at all.
Yeah.
And people were shocked by it lah.
Yeah.
So it just feels like, hey guys, what you doing lah? Who is in your PR? Who is in your comms department?
Yeah, because I think if they really need to push through this because it's MAS regulation or something, there still needs to be a process of really educating people, because the perception is that a lot of the social phishing scams last year were due mainly to social engineering, right? You can give people all the security, the tokens or what, digital tokens and all that. But at the end of the day, if people are taking that code and then sending it to someone else, right, then it kind of defeats the whole purpose of having those digital codes and all that.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of that kind of social engineering of basically scammers pretending to be someone they're not and sounding very convincing. That's what got people scammed. It wasn't so much that the app was not secure. Because if the app, if you go by theory, is meant to be very secure. But because people were conned in other ways by social engineering, so that to me is the bigger problem from those phishing scams, which have we put in 100% into fixing those problems in terms of education or what? We don't know, right?
Yeah, exactly. And the social. I mean, we ourselves have heard from personal friends who have kena the social engineering scam, and it's damn smart.
Yeah, it's damn smart.
It's damn smart. And I'm sure people listening, you might know someone also who might not be the person you might think would fall for it, but we all have our vulnerable moments.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it gets tricky lah. But OCBC, they said since they rolled out the security enhancements on Saturday, the bank has not received any malware scam reports. This is in contrast to before August 5th, when every day they got at least one report, Terrence. So they slashed it from 1 to 0 over a period of 4 days.
No one has asked for an apology, I guess, from OCBC.
That is some amazing. It's like reaching the moon. No? Yeah. Go from 1 a day to 0 a day. Woo! And over just an observation period of 4 days.
Yeah.
So because the thing is, I still feel that, okay, this might be a bit too hard-handed, but something that is more hard-handed might be something that is necessary at some point. The more connected we are, the more we are willing to share info online, the more number of passwords that we all have.
Yeah.
There's there needs to be some guardrails lah. And it might be the case that it needs to be something that is harder, which I'm not entirely against. But I think it's just hand-holding people to reach that point lah.
Yeah.
Because now you think about how many passwords everyone has. I use a password manager, which has been a lifesaver.
Yeah.
I cannot imagine. I know some people who use the same password for everything.
Oh, man.
Or like they maybe change one alphabet or one number. And I'm like, oh shit, no, password managers are dope, man.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, so many of us use iPhones, and iPhones essentially is that it's a walled ecosystem, right? Where you can't sideload apps at all.
Yeah.
So I think people can be convinced to take on harder measures to protect the most vulnerable people, but it needs a lot of convincing.
But on the iPhone thing, apparently that has a other issue. Like people get too complacent on the iPhone.
Yeah.
And I think they said right now the Apple malware can still seep through Apple.
Yeah, it can.
The Apple guardrails.
Yeah.
So I know on Apple, aside from my password, the password, what did I say? The password manager kind of thing. Yeah, I wouldn't say I take any extra precaution like, if I'm on Wi-Fi not to log in. No, man. Sometimes I think I'm a bit too lax also.
Yeah.
But because at the back of my mind, I know Apple has this the Great Wall of Apple, but it's not impermeable also.
It's not impermeable.
Yeah. So that's like the flip side. Like Android, you have to be like, whole day, 24 hours vigilant, but Apple, you don't give a fuck and then people still break in.
Yeah. Correct. Yeah, there's a feature of Android phones, which I kind of enjoyed while using Android during my brief flirtation.
Is it? I know the one thing you enjoy was you can have your Google Maps on while having a YouTube video.
Half and half. Yeah. That was awesome.
That was like your number one feature for Android phone.
Yeah, like multitasking while watching videos.
But that lasted how long?
Android?
1 year.
Yeah, a year, 2 years.
I had Android for 2 years. I couldn't take it, man.
Yeah, and then the phone started to get like, it started to converge with what Apple was providing also. So yeah, wasn't my thing.
Yeah.
But
I mean, hopefully they did. MAS and the banks did say they will learn from this.
Yeah.
So maybe this is taking the concept of, like in the startup world, what we have learned is you ship your product, the minimum viable product. You just put it out there and then you iterate from there. Maybe OCBC was like, I think we should do that also.
Or maybe they were forced to It's like part of the punishment for like the phishing scams last year.
They're like, before NDP, you better push something out.
Yeah, of all the banks, you are the first one to go and take the bullets.
That's true. You're
like
fucked
that.
up, right?
You are like when the boat lands in Normandy, you are the guy at the front that runs out first.
You fucked up, now you go first.
Yeah.
All the other banks is like, bro, sorry, we can't help you. OCBC, I'll be here with,
monitoring.
you'll be
We'll be monitoring from the sidelines, yeah.
Then OCBC just shakily going forward, peeing his pants all.
And then once the rails come down,
everybody just hiding behind OCBC. Then can't tell the blood because it's red also.
Yeah.
They're like, oh my god, it's OCBC fine?
Yeah.
Oh man.
But yeah. But speaking of all these things happening during a very big party, the NDP. Something else also happened during NDP that is stirring up a lot of emotions amongst people. And this time it's not red, but it's the color of green.
It's the color of green.
Yeah.
And it is the fact that during the NDP, the beloved Grab actually had their own contingent that was marching.
Yes.
I didn't see that because we were out waiting for the fireworks by then. Did you see it?
I saw it because I was there.
Yeah.
And it was something I also pointed out like to my wife, what the hell is Grab?
So you could see there was like the Grab logo and all.
Yeah. It was like Grab was, I think, the last or second last contingent to march as well. So very prominent that, because usually, these things you remember the first couple that you go, then you remember the last one. So Grab was quite clear.
But what was the contingent? What was that segment?
That was so that segment was basically the pillars of total defense, the social pillars, social, economic and community pillars of total defense. So each of them would be like, Singpost, even DBS, Changi Airport, different companies, right? They're very, with very strong Singapore links to, the history of Singapore and everything.
Yeah.
Being represented with a contingent there. Singtel was there.
Oh, Singtel had a contingent.
Singtel had a very strong contingent there. Strong pillar of community support, obviously. So these are a lot of GLCs for sure, right? And so I was still quite puzzled why Grab was there. Because Grab isn't supposed to be officially a GLC or anything, right?
So the rest were all GLCs?
I think you could make an argument that each of them are GLCs.
And what defines a GLC again? Like the government owns as a shareholding.
Temasek has a very specific strategic interest in owning a share of the company for the sake of Singapore, for example. So like SQ and everything, SIA, right? But I think there were also other examples of that also raised eyebrows. I think OSIM was also represented.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, and I think a big question people had. Some people were asking, is Grab even a Singaporean company? Because if Grab is considered a Singaporean company, then what about Dyson? Right? Dyson is a Singapore company also. It has moved its operations to Singapore since a number of years back.
But Grab wasn't founded in Singapore.
Grab was
Malaysia.
My taxi in Malaysia that moved its headquarters to Singapore, but it's now listed on Nasdaq. But its leaders have become Singaporean citizens. Then you will ask the question of how about Hai Di Lao? He's also the founder, also Singapore citizen now. So can you imagine Hai Di Lao having a contingent at NDP?
And probably there'll be people who argue Hai Di Lao is a pillar of Singapore. It's a pillar of Singapore. It's not a pillar for my life, but it's a pillar for a lot of people.
Yeah. So I mean, you didn't see it, but when you heard of it, what was your immediate reaction?
Yeah, it felt like, hey, why are you at this party? It's like the party is like because okay, I won't deny that my first thought of Grab in general is like, okay, they're a bit much.
Yeah.
They're trying to do everything. They're trying to just be everything, get in every part of your life, and I never liked that.
And they're not very good at any one of these particular aspects either.
Yeah, correct. The second thing was, it made me think that, when we went to Parliament and we saw Tin Pei Ling on her laptop, she was probably replying emails about this.
I don't know, maybe.
Yeah.
But she was supposed to deal with public policy and all that. So maybe the getting.
She was like, yes, this, you guys need to be at NDP. I will get you guys there. You will have an NDP contingent. I think I just found it weird because I didn't even know that GLC companies had contingents.
Yeah.
I thought it's just like a lot of the community spirit and like the commercial companies all not part of the NDP.
No, yeah. But that's where I would say those floats I was talking about earlier. Oh, actually, what we just talked about was relevant. Those floats that represented like Total Defense and things like that.
Yeah.
Actually, each of them had a sponsor, and the sponsor's logo was on the float. So some companies that did sponsor were like McDonald's sponsored a float. So McDonald's, I mean, American company, everything, right? But they sponsor a float NDP. How is that different from Grab having a contingent marching?
Oh, I did not know that.
So if Grab logo just sponsored, if the Grab logo was just on a float and was just a sponsor, you'd be okay with that?
No, I would still have the same reaction. So now I have a reaction to McDonald's being sponsoring.
Why?
Because we always hear...
But McDonald's is a pillar of society.
No,
how many of us, how many breakfasts, how many dates, how many dinners, late night, Tan Chuan Jin eat filet-o-fish.
That's why filet-o-fish. Filet-o-fish.
That's a pillar, man.
No, because isn't one of the high-level things that we always hear is that foreign companies should not interfere with domestic affairs?
Yeah.
And they cannot sponsor certain events, most notably, like, say, Pink Dot. So then NDP, how come they can sponsor?
But then that's maybe because NDP is less
political
per
but
se.
NDP is like literally our national celebration where we are showcasing and bearing our soul of what it means to be Singaporean. Like even OCBC is a Singaporean company, right?
Yes.
So for McDonald's, I have the same reaction as Grab. I'm like, how come they can sponsor? You mean it's just open? Anybody want to sponsor? You can sponsor a part of NDP.
But actually,
what do you feel? You don't feel?
I feel that it's okay for corporations to sponsor these events. So, if anything, I don't see as big a problem with, let's say, someone wanting to sponsor Pink Dot. In fact, I think that was like a very it wasn't a good move when you can't get sponsorships or events like Pink Dot anymore.
Yeah.
So I would say that I'm actually okay if they sponsor a float, because at the end of the day, these companies also, they sink roots in your country.
Yeah.
They also hire your local people.
They feed a lot of people.
Yeah, they're part of the community. They feed people. They're recognizable brands, and they want to be associated with the celebration of your country's birthday, right? But I think the issue that I had with the Grab presence was a marching contingent. There's something about having a marching contingent at NDP alongside the commandos, the guard of honor, alongside our police, alongside our SCDF, alongside our youth who are uniform groups. Then suddenly one contingent of Grab, like I don't know what, employees or riders or nothing to do against them, but it's such a show of we are, like
we're
entrenched
part of
in
Singapore.
Singapore. We're part of the fabric of society. And
Because in some way, a sponsor is like, oh, we are doing this. You sponsor what we are doing.
yeah,
Whereas a contingent is like, no, I'm fucking doing this.
we are Singapore together. We are here alongside your police and your thing. We are as important as your institutions that have been here for 58 years. So apparently they marched last year, but it wasn't as big a hoo-ha. Maybe also because I think the last year a bit more angst against the app and everything lah.
So even Singtel all had marching contingent.
They all had, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe it's a different tier lah. You pay more, you get contingent.
Yeah.
Then maybe you pay even more, you get like parade commander.
Parade commander.
Parade commander sponsored by Grab.
Brought to you by Grab. But I mean, people they say at the end of the day, you know what we're saying about McDonald's being a social provider of jobs and food for people. Can't you argue that Grab in some way is keeping unemployment low in Singapore?
So I mean, that's the thing about Grab, which is why it's so conflicting. I still use Grab a good amount. I mean, of course, I have no loyalty to any app. I have an affinity towards Tada because they seem like less douchey than Grab. But if the price is low, I will use. And even for Grab Express, Grab Food, I still use it, but there's something about it which is annoying.
The app is
just the brand. And I don't know. It's one of those things that I think just their branding, the stuff they do, like little things are like, the fact that Tin Pei Ling is in charge of public affairs. When they do that kind of stuff, it's like, hey, don't do that kind of stuff. So, I don't know, there's a personal kind of like gag reflex for me.
Yeah, and that was around Chinese New Year, that period when the Tin Pei Ling thing was that means in February or so. When Tin Pei Ling thing came out, right? So, I would say, there's probably the most negative press that Grab has had in the last year, since the last NDP and all.
And even on LinkedIn, like some people put ex-Google, ex-Facebook, because I guess they have this reputation of attracting like really talented people. But ex-Grab is also a label now. No?
Oh, is it?
Yeah. It's ex-Grab. Then I'm like, hey, it's like Google became famous because of their hiring, number of like interviews you have to go through hiring, and Facebook. It felt like for those companies, their branding came organically.
Yeah.
Whereas Grab, just like the inserting themselves into the contingent, they're like, hey, no, I'm going to put ex-Grab on LinkedIn also.
Okay.
Because that shows I'm good, It's like that kind of behavior.
I see. So, I mean, if it was up to you, like if you could replace...
If I was NDP director,
I don't even know if they have the power to do so, but let's say you have, like you're president, President Halimah, and you can say, okay, I want to swap out the Grab contingent for another company in Singapore. Who will you choose to represent the pillars, social pillars of Singapore? Why Old Chunky?
I don't know. I feel Old Chunky, every time I go there, I see the aunties and all, and like, feels like Old Chunky or even Sheng Siong.
Sheng Siong, okay.
Yeah. Is it Sheng Siong or Sheng Siong?
Sheng Siong.
Sheng Siong.
Yeah.
Sheng Siong.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know about the politics and all, but brand-wise, I like those brands.
I see.
Sheng Siong, because, like the stuff there is good, it's cheap. Old Chunky, just the fact that I know they proactively hire older folk. Or
then you want the older folk to go and march,
No lah.
you want to tekan them, right?
You don't know whether it's employees, right?
Oh, yeah,
just Old Chunky.
True.
So those two brands come to mind for you?
Maybe Yakun.
Yakun.
Because I feel like Kaya Toast, eggs and Kaya and kopi, all those really bring people together.
That's true.
And it's an institution that has been around Singapore.
Yeah, not Toast Box, Yakun.
Yeah, not Toast Box. So, Toast Box, the seat too small already.
And even the mugs, like fucking holding the mugs,
It's like they don't want you to sit there for too long.
Yeah, correct. Want you to spill on your shirt or...
Yeah. So to me, okay, Yakun. If I see a Yakun contingent, I'll be like, okay, that's a pillar of
that
my
is
social life.
That is. Yeah, so companies like that, you really have the Singapore spirit.
People will cheer. I think when they go past, people will cheer. Yeah, but not unfortunately not
actually,
in this case.
Because I would imagine, okay, normally for events, you get sponsors because you need to help with funding, right? NDP feels like, okay, like funding, it's going to be taken care of, right? So, part of what we have spoken about, like, Singapore media and film, like exporting soft culture, exporting the Singapore identity, really being proud.
Yeah.
If all the sponsors or all the brands there are local brands, right, that really, like what you say, if you compare Yakun to a Secret Lab,
Yeah.
To me, Yakun is so much deeper in Singapore. Secret Lab, my mom, like, she won't care about Secret Lab.
Yeah.
But Yakun is something that really, there's a lot of history.
Yeah.
So brands like that would be awesome, man.
Yeah. In fact, they should, in the spirit of the reserved kind of presidency and election, all that, they should also have reserved lots for like heritage brands to march at NDP also, right? Like maybe 1 or 2 a year. Like,
yeah, that's true.
Imagine if next time Yalabat also got marching contingent. Then we go on Reddit. Hey, anybody want to march at NDP this year? Hit us up. Like only like 7 Saturdays burnt.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah.
Then 2 of us, Tristen, our listeners, all just a contingent there. Oh, that'd be dope, man.
That'd be funny. Yeah.
That'd be
I mean, like what we talked about before, like showcasing the brands that really speak to Singaporeans, right? And rather than just by the market cap or anything like that.
Yeah. Because even McDonald's, okay lah, yeah, you're entrenched, but feels like there's if you want to talk, I mean, I don't know how many branches Yakun has. Definitely not as many as McDonald's.
Yeah.
But it feels like there's so many franchises, brands, even Awfully Chocolate. If they have a contingent, right?
Wow.
I'll be like, hey,
chocolate.
yeah, Awfully Chocolate contingent.
Yeah.
I think they got a great product, they got a great brand, Singapore. So why not? Why not?
I suspect a lot of these sponsors also, the big part of their sponsorship goes towards the goodie bag. Like the stuff that is given to people in the goodie bags,
Correct.
So Awfully
what
Chocolate,
was in the goodie bag?
I mean, there was the usual, the drum and the drumstick and the flag and the other like granola.
Go grab voucher.
Water. I have not trawled through it to be honest. I have like 3 goodie bags in my possession, but they are sitting somewhere in the corner of my table there. I haven't really gone through.
Is it called goodie bag or a fun bag?
Fun pack, yes.
It's a
NDP
fun bag.
But now they don't give the backpack thing already. Now it's like tote bags.
Tote bags.
I guess it's like in line with the times.
I see.
So I haven't checked out who sponsored what. But I mean, wasn't anything like worth like, dropping all my dropping dinner to eat or anything like that.
I see. Yeah, Grab.
Yeah.
Don't know. Yeah.
Interesting.
Oh well.
Yes.
Yeah.
But speaking of other things that people are saying, what is your one Shiok comment?
Would you like to go first?
Yeah, I would actually. I do have a screenshot. Oh wait, sorry, no. I think you can go ahead first. I need to pull it up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Wait. Okay. Wait. Pulling it up.
Yes.
Pulling it up.
Okay. Mine was about the episode 422, which is about 联合早报啦. And I think we had a very interesting post from I mean, there's a lot of interesting discussions going on. Like I think started by a user called Rose Gold Cat, who was basically giving his or her own personal experience of reading the 早报 cover to cover at least once a week, like at his or her parents' place, and that saying that it's basically 20% local news and 80% regional international news. So they even pointed out that there was a time when 早报 was thought to be more left-leaning than Straits Times because of the Nanta Chinese educated working there as editors and journalists and all that. So it's quite an interesting insight into what 早报 is now for the Chinese-speaking population. And other people like external jurists also chimed in with in the discussion, which I think gave a lot of color to what we're talking about. Because we don't read 早报. But these people, they know a little bit more about 早报. They're readers of 早报, and they actually have some very interesting things to add to the podcast that we did.
Yeah, in fact, like the comments, certain parts, it made me think also because, for example, someone, Unicorn and Kaijus said that 联合早报, they said that I said that 联合早报 is publicly funded, but the wiki page says that it's owned by SPH Media Trust, which is true. What I meant by publicly funded is that there's some element of taxpayers' money that goes into funding it, and I do believe, like even Rose Gold Cat replied saying that. They pointed to one page saying the trust is owned by several government-linked companies and institutions. And I think that movement to SPH Trust was only like last year or something, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not super sure of the funding structure, but I do know that there is some taxpayers' money that will end up funding SPH Media. But that whole thread itself, there's a lot of good comments.
Yeah.
And highly recommend everybody reading it, because now rereading it, I'm like, oh yeah, there were certain things I read which I also didn't understand, which I need to go down. So, wow, it's awesome. I didn't know there were that many comments.
So basically, you are issuing a correction to something that you declared.
I wouldn't say issue. I would like to challenge. I would like to challenge the POFMA because
appeal, not challenge.
Because
appeal.
Unicorn and Kaijus did say, I'm not sure if he said fake news or I'm just confused. I don't believe it's fake news, so I would like to challenge that.
So
I would like to issue my appeal to Unicorn and Kaijus.
That was our one Shiok POFMA of the week.
One Shiok POFMA of the week. At the rate we are going, at the rate Singapore's going, there it might be a new segment.
Yes, one Shiok
Your
POFMA.
One Shiok POFMA. Because last week, I think Jom issued their appeal to the High Court, right?
Yeah.
So we don't know the outcome of that yet, or at least it's not public.
Yeah.
One Shiok POFMA of the week. Wow.
Wow, not bad. I like it when our audience,
they question what we say. But yeah, so and on to the One Shiok thing.
Yes. My One Shiok thing is something that I think should be coming out on Singapore television soon, whether it's via Amazon Prime or what. But there's a new remake of the beloved Japanese reality TV series Takeshi's Castle.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, there's a 2023 version of it that was filmed in Japan in 2022. But it features a newly updated Takeshi's Castle setup with a lot of the old games that people used to play.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but now, more colorful and done up in a more...
But it's being made by who?
I think I saw that it's on Amazon Prime.
Oh, it's out already.
I'm not sure if it's out yet in Singapore,
shit.
but if you go on YouTube, you might be able to find the show on YouTube. I don't know. I'm not sure. Yeah. But you might be able to find something on YouTube that is basically the show.
Oh, shit. I remember watching it when I was young. Yeah,
it was great, right? Everyone loved it, and it was like, couldn't get enough of it, if anything. Yeah.
Oh, fuck, Takeshi's Castle. I mean, just on a related thing about something that I'm sure you also watched when you were younger, American Gladiators.
Yes.
There's a documentary on Netflix which I want to watch at some point.
On my list as well.
It looks damn interesting about all the seediness that happened behind camera and all that, right?
And I actually recognize some of those people. Nitro.
Nitro. Everybody knows Nitro, man.
Yeah.
That looks interesting. That looks interesting.
So yeah, maybe Takeshi's Castle also has that, but this one is really just like
they remake it
It's basically, you look at it, the whole obstacle course looks like Wipeout Wipeout, that series. A lot of it is quite similar to the Wipeout setup as well.
Wow, solid.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, my One Shiok thing is a video I saw that talked about it's titled Eliud Kipchoge's new marathon training is ridiculous. Have you heard of Eliud Kipchoge?
No.
So he's a Kenyan long distance runner and widely known as...
Has So Ryong talked about him before?
Maybe.
Sounds familiar.
He's considered arguably the best marathon runner ever. If you look at his 10 winning marathon times over the past don't know how many years, his average is 2 hours and 3 minutes, which works out to a per kilometer speed of 3 minutes and 20 seconds.
So
per kilometer for 42 kilometers.
Okay, so if it's a 2.4, he would be about 7 or 8 minutes.
7 or 8 minutes.
Yeah. See, I'm Singaporean that way. I have to convert it to 2.4 to understand how fast is that.
Convert to metric and all. No, wait. 2.4 kilometers. Oh, yeah, that's fast.
Yeah.
That's fucking for 42 kilometers. And he's 38 now. And he just talks about his training regimen and how there have been quite a few races where there'll be a 4-minute gap between him and the person who's second. So this video was talking about the training he had been doing up till the Boston Marathon this past April, which was one of the few major marathons that he had not won. And in Kenya, there's this area where all the elite marathoners train, and he spent a lot of time training on the Boston track. There's a track there because Boston Marathon is known to be very hilly. So the video is amazing. It just talks about how ridiculous an athlete he is. The sad thing is, Boston Marathon, he ended up finishing 6th. And it was just like a bad day,
I see.
according to him. So in some way, even like the greats like Roger Federer, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, they all have their bad days. This was a bad day. But I was just looking, I'm like, oh shit. And then when you think about even So Ryong, his marathon timing is 2:20 or something. It's insane. It's ridiculous. So all these marathoners, and he's 38.
Wow.
And he's still going strong. So I think his training was like 250 kilometers a week.
Wow.
Crazy.
250 kilometers a week.
Yeah, but insane. So it was just an interesting video, and it just makes you look at them like, oh my god, these people are ridiculous.
No, yeah, and it reminds me of how fun it was to talk to Ryong about the not about all the crap that's going on that went on behind the scenes at SNOC and all that, but just in terms of like what you said, like how tricky it is to just have a bad day. You wake up on the wrong side of bed, or just someone snore in your room yesterday, and then you are running the race to go and like get a gold medal for your country the next day.
Yeah.
And that shit like affects them at every competition.
Exactly. Because like football, even if you sprain your ankle, technically you can still score 2 goals.
Yeah. Your team can pick up the slack for you.
If you're
right?
an athlete, right? Wow, everything matters.
Yeah. So that's what shocked me. Like you know, how everything, the stars have to align for you to really have a good day, and then you still got to run the race and push yourself to the limit to give yourself the best shot at winning.
Yeah,
that's what's quite crazy about these endurance athletes.
And I mean, speaking of athletes, if all goes well, we should have an athlete on our podcast in the coming weeks.
More than one, yeah, maybe
more than one,
yeah. Different sports, but yeah,
So hopefully, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
But yeah. So yeah, that's all we have for today.
Yes.
Thanks everyone for listening.
Yeah.
And
talk to you all soon. Yeah. Sorry, I had to fill it in.
I just had a little hiccup.
Fill in for Harish's burp after eating too much Old Chunky.
Okay. All right. Talk to you all soon.